Hey everyone, this is the challenge run that I decided to do in the first Borderlands game. It's one that I've always wanted to do, where I get through each and every challenge possible before talking to Zed. I went about this with Brick because as far as I know, he's the only one that can get over this gate here in order to get out of bounds and be able to get the challenges done. I don't actually know if there's any other way. I just happened to see this in somebody's video randomly and I thought I've always wanted to do this in the first area, but before even finishing the first mission is kind of incredible. So that was something that I worked on for, well, let's see, the total hours was 42, so a little over 42 hours it took me to complete this challenge. You can see there I used the brick speed glitch to get over the fence. It's where you just hit your action skill and then activate or open up your menu at pretty much the exact moment you activate it, and you just become faster. This speed lasts whether you go into vehicles or whether you travel to another area. So long as you don't use your action skill again, your speed won't reset back to normal. So I did a lot of runs already by the time I recorded this, because I felt like maybe I should share, just because I'm not really sure how many people have done something like this before, especially because this challenge is so tedious. These 42 hours, I feel like I actually did them pretty efficiently too. You can see that I've already slowed down the video a little bit every time that there's a chest, because this is like the route that I came up with to get my chests and also my loot. So that's the second chest there. First one was in that bandit camp where you're supposed to kill 8 bandits, but none spawn because I haven't gotten that far in the story. Even though it's the second mission. Well, basically it's the third mission. So this is the third chest already. And it's important to hit these chests and everything and open up all the loot, because there's 500 chests, I believe, is what it takes to complete the treasure hunter challenge or whatever it's called. And then the other one is, no, actually it's 400 red chests and 5,000 various lootable objects. Scavenging, that includes skag piles, which count if you shoot them, by the way, so anytime you see them, shoot them. If you're close to an openable, just open it. I even go out of my way to get certain other ones, like the racks after this. You'll see that I just kind of go up the hill because there's a whole big cluster of them together. So there's another red chest. Whole bunch of enemies. I believe that at this point in my run, I was working on my SMG kills, as well as critical hits. I had already gotten all of these skag kills, the 2,500 skag kills and the 2,500 human kills, but I had not gotten the rack ones yet, although that was something that I knew would come in time because there's not too many rack spawns. There's 3 here in Fyrestone, and then there's 2 more in the arid hills. So for the first part, for these runs that are, I would say that these were mostly focused on collectibles more than anything because it takes forever to get them done. The guns and the critical hits and the rack kills are all secondary, so even though you will see me killing everything just for the sake of progress, I did make it an effort to get all the chests and collectibles anyways. And in here there's something kind of interesting going on. Once you hit a certain level, I'm not sure what it is, but I believe it's somewhere in the early 20s, the badass skags, specifically in this map, in the Shock Caverns, they can actually drop artifacts for your character, even though you're on the first mission still. I had actually been trying to get the Shock one, which I happened to get in literally the very last run at the end of the video. I got a ton of explosive ones, I got a couple corrosives, I got 1 fire, and these are all for Brick, by the way. And then at the very end of the video, basically, I was finally able to get the Shock artifact for Brick. which I was really happy about because I had all but given up. Keep in mind, this is a map that I had hit just about every run that I had done in those 42 hours. This run specifically, you can see I was showing off my artifacts there because I was hoping a shock skag would have spawned in that little area. With these runs, it was about 30 to 35 minutes every time that I did it. I would basically complete this circuit here, which would end in Sledge's safe house, where I'd kill all the enemies and get the chest there, and then I'd save and quit and do it all again. But when it came to just the kills, after I got all of my collectibles done and I was just specifically focusing on the guns, I did a triple circuit where I would go around and around, basically the same route here, but a lot less detours. And I wouldn't go into Sledge's safe house. I would just stop at the Arid Hills, the end of the Arid Hills, and run back to Fyrestone, basically where the first car station that you can access is after you get up the side here of Fishwash Gully. I kind of made the jumps earlier too look easy because, like I said, I put a lot of hours into it. Eventually I got good at it in general, but it took me a while to really figure out how to get up the side there, and it's not something I can explain explicitly. It's just something you gotta figure out for yourself. All that I know is that I had better luck jumping the gate in Fyrestone when I kind of turned to the side halfway. If you go back, you'll see that. When it came to going up Pisswash Gully, I kind of always looked down. It always seemed to work better if I looked down and kind of hugged the left side of the wall, but there's some invisible geometry there that makes it a little bit complicated, but eventually you get used to the placement. There was a couple times though where the weird geometry would just send me flying backwards like I was on the moon or something, and it could get a little bit frustrating. Sometimes it'd take me like 5 minutes to get up there, but eventually I got it all figured out. So this is the last little area here, this bandit camp coming up, before I enter the Sledge's safe house. And you can see already by my level that I got through a ton of these challenges, and I did pull the challenges up earlier so that you could see what those ones were. But you definitely have to modify your route depending on your level, particularly early on too. It's important to maximize getting to level 5 before hitting Z so that you can actually get your action skill. I would just recommend saving and quitting with one of the explosive weapons, like the explosive combat rifle, the gearbox one that I just can't remember the name of right now. That way you can get explosive kills, human kills, and also combat rifle kills, so 25 of each of those, as well as getting the challenge for getting a certain amount of consecutive kills within a few seconds. If you get all of those, you should be able to hit level 5, but it will require saving and quitting before killing all the enemies in Fyrestone, and you'll be able to do that a few times. So you can see right here, I'm kind of just showing off my inventory a little bit. I was able to get some pretty good loot, mostly from the level 18 bandit camp with all of the skulls. In that area you could see that I was far from getting all of the money that I needed. It pretty much seemed impossible to me. I had a good amount of the rack. I still needed to get pistols, snipers, but I had gotten pretty much everything else done. Still needed about 400 lootables there, and also critical hits. Right here I'm just showing off how I was able to get the maximum money limit. It's not the true maximum, but it's at least enough to get the challenge, and you can't see your money after that. I would just hit the chest, which I had on save only. If you're on console though, you could just copy your save file for your profile, and that's what I had on read only, I mean, on PC. That way I wouldn't have to go through all that process. I'd toss it by the gate, I'd drive over to that vendor, and then I'd have to close out my game and open it back up in order for my golden keys to come back. This here, where it's super sped up, this is just my kill run. And I'm showing off here that I had basically already gotten everything else done. I was expecting this to be my last run entirely, because all I had to do was the combat rifle. I tried to focus on rocket launchers and snipers before this point, so that it would be something a lot easier towards the end. But I got everything else done. Some of the challenges I got early, like Orbit Achieved, there's a way to go on a ramp and force yourself to get that. This is a little interesting trick for that. I fired every shot ever is just sitting in a vehicle, a machine gun vehicle, and holding the triggers down until eventually you get that. The good thing is I didn't have to worry about crits or anything. I didn't have to worry about opening containers. Occasionally I'd open them just to get ammo. But it's mostly just a straight beeline to get all the kills. But you can see that it's basically the same as before. I'd go through that route in Fyrestone. I'd skip a couple areas where chests were out of the way. I was able to skip chests entirely. Right there was where I got my shock artifact. I forgot to slow that part down, I guess, but that was where I finally got the last artifact for Brick. I just continued going through, getting my kills, and based on my experience doing this with the rocket launchers, with the snipers, with everything, I was getting about 250 kills per run, and I had about 700 kills to go, and by run I mean lap. So I was doing 3 laps at a time before resetting. That way if I did need ammo, all the crates and containers would be reset instead of just laying around. But I was trying not to open anything unless absolutely necessary. First played Borderlands a couple months after it came out at a friend's house, and it was on the PS3 and it ran terribly. Probably an average of 20 frames per second, and even lower in intense combat. So being able to play on a PC at 4K with the graphics turned up, it's been really fun, especially because they enhanced the graphics a little bit in this version. I do appreciate what they did. I didn't run into any crashes the entire 42 hours that I did this, which was nice because I had heard a lot about memory leaks and stuff like that. I didn't seem to experience frame dips or anything, but I was also saving and quitting somewhat frequently, so I wouldn't have run into that anyways. Something interesting I didn't point out either here was that since all of the missions are locked, you kind of just see the clap traps that you would normally be able to fix, like the one here and the one that's in Sledge's safe house. I wish that I was able to do those missions because it would have given me a little bit more inventory space and it would have helped make things faster when it came to collecting money, just by being able to sell guns. But they were completely locked because I was still on the tutorial mission. The only 3 challenges also that I wasn't able to do in this run were win 1,000 duels, which technically I am able to do, but being on PC I'm not able to split screen. Getting Spider Ant kills and getting Iridian Guardian kills. So getting every single other challenge was pretty incredible. Even when I beat Zed, I'm sorry, I mean not beat Zed, I mean meet Zed, I'll be able to get the other challenges done just by playing certain DLCs. So, like doing Moxie's DLC, for example, I'll be able to get the Iridian kills if I just farmed that for a while. Doing the spider ants, that would be... I would probably do the Claptrap DLC for that. There's a ton of spider ants all around. But I'm not too interested in continuing this at the moment. I wasn't sure if I should download this mod either to get split screen for this game, just because I wasn't sure how much it mattered. It actually only gives 5,000 experience at its highest tier, and that's not enough to get me to level 32. So I wouldn't have been able to level up anyways. I didn't really see the need for it, but I guess you could say I wasn't a true completionist for this because I didn't spend the time doing that. Wasn't really sure if I could find someone who was willing to sit there for however many hours and just continue meleeing me while I melee them, and then I kill them, and then we do it again 1,000 times. I didn't really want to ask. Here we are nearing the end of my run, and hilariously, right here you can see that I'm 5 kills short. 5 kills short. So I figure, okay, well, I'll just run into Sledge's safe house real quick and get those 5 kills. It is 1, 2, 3, 4. And I killed a couple more before saving and quitting, but you could see there it said that my total play time, I didn't keep it up long enough, was 1 day 18 hours and 19, I think it said 19 minutes, which is a lot of time for one character, especially when you don't even leave the tutorial yet. And it feels so good just seeing all these darkened out, because even on a normal playthrough I would never have bothered to do any of these challenges, never. But in a level where you're normally going to be around level 3, and I end up hitting level 31, pretty much legit. It was a hell of an accomplishment. So thanks for watching, and I hope that anyone and everyone who's interested in doing something like this takes it on, and maybe you can get it done faster than me, and maybe even get those dual kills done if you really feel like rotting your brain. For me, it was just honestly a fun little thing I was doing. Just a good way to pass the time when I'm really feeling too lazy to play video games. Although it did become a hell of a chore, especially at the end when I just wanted to get it done, so I just pushed myself to get it done. Now I think I'm going to do an actual playthrough with this and see just how high of a level I can get to before beating the game. I might even do all of the DLCs first too. I'm not really sure yet, but for now I need a little break. Anyways, thank you for watching.